Hey guys, so you may or may not have seen my crit lich build. It's just your typical Death Seal and Reperform build. So what I'm going to discuss on this video is what are the other three skills that we can use in combined with Death Seal and Reperform. So for this video, I'm about to show three variants, which is the Rip Blood, Transplant, and Bone Curse, also Hungering Souls and Soul Feast. So we are going to be discussing their advantage and disadvantages, and yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so first we have the Rip Blood Transplant variant. Uh, Bone Curse will be in all, sorry I forgot to say that, Bone Curse will be in all of them with just different minor adjustment to the nodes, skill allocation rather. So let's get to it. For Rip Blood, we are going to be focusing more on AoE and cast speed. So we want Rip Blood to have a very high cast speed as possible. And the Transplant will also cast Rip Blood and Bone Curse. So the way this works is you transplant into the enemy and you spam Rip Blood. As you can see, Bone Curse is reapplied. There's a bug known right now, which should not be doing this, but since it's still there, might as well take advantage of it, although it's already been reported. So let's get to it. For Rip Blood, I put 1 point on Eviscerate, 4 points on Arcane Absorption to get to Rip Spirit. Rip Spirit converts it to necrotic damage. Arcane Absorption grants us global spell damage on hit, which is why we want to have our cast speed as high as possible. We put 4 points on Run Dry for the damage boost, and also to get Blood Catalyst, which automatically recast on kill. This is great for mobs, and it gives us a much faster clearing overall. Next is I put 5 points on Hemomancer for the cast speed, 3 points on Thirst for the cast speed and mana cost, which allows us to spam Rip Blood indefinitely. And I put 1 point on Stench of Blood for the plus 5% cast speed again. So the way you play this is you transform that seal, transplant, and spam Rip Blood. Last thing is Bone Curse, so I put 4 points on Conflation, 1 point on Sigil of Mortality to get Mark for Death, 1 point on Oppressive Gaze to get 40% more damage and unlimited duration for Mark for Death, 4 points on Iron Maiden, 1 point on Acute Infliction to get to Illusion of Pain, 3 points on Brittle Bones for the kill threshold, and also to get Cursed Limbs, 5 points. The known bug here is that, I'm not sure if this is the one that they're talking about, but Cursed Limbs apply Bone Curse on hit, and it also triggers Illusion of Pain, which means that we can reapply Bone Curse whenever we attack after we use Transplant. This is an incredibly powerful combination, these two, and we are going to take full advantage of it. You can see it's being reapplied, and yeah, that's it. So I'm going to show you a video on how well this does on echoes and on bosses.
dying. I feel
Now for the last one is Hungering Souls and Transplant. Basically, it's just the same as Rip Blood and Transplant. We're just going to replace it with Hungering Souls. The advantage of this is Hungering Souls has a much better clear or much better AoE than Rip Blood. It is also fast, has a very fast cast speed, which is good. And yeah, the only downside that I can think of is that each souls can only hit an enemy once per cast, so you need to have very high cast speed for this. Now let's get into it. So for the Hungering Souls, I've put 3 points on Ravenous, 1 point on Vengeful Souls, 3 points on Risen Hatred to get the double cast chance, 1 point on Grave Bond, 3 points on Unholy Trinity, so we will be using this, so we will have 3 minions. The downside of this is that the minions might die during boss fights. 1 point on Soul Swarm to get 3 points on the minion of Undeath for the -6 mana cost, so that we would need to worry about sustaining this ability or spamming it. 4 points on Life Hunt to get cast speed and speed, also range, and 1 point on Risen Cemetery. So the way you play this is just the same as Rip Blood. For the Transplant, I didn't even change anything. It's just the same as Rip Blood. For Bone Curse, I reallocated 1 point from Cursed Limbs to Entreat the Damned, so that we may have a chance to get Skeleton Vanguard on kill. So we need to apply Bone Curse on the enemy first, so that we may get a chance to summon these skeletons. So yeah, up next is a video of how well this does on echoes and on boss fights. Alright, so this is the third variation. It's Soul Feast and Aura of Decay. What this does is Aura of Decay grants poison stacks on the enemy, and whenever an enemy hits us, they get poison stacks, while we also get poison stacks of our own. Soul Feast, we cast Soul Feast onto the enemy to consume poison stacks to get armor. So this is a tankier version, supposedly a tankier version of this Crit Lich build. See, it's going up on the dummies, but it's supposed to be much higher since enemies will attack us non-stop, granting them poison stacks. The downside of this build is you cannot spam Soul Feast because it has high mana cost, and its area is quite small compared to Blood, Rip, and Hungering Souls. So let's get to it. For Bone Curse, everything is just the same. I rather put 5 points on Cursed Limbs since we are going to manually use it rather than using Transplant for it, since we are going to be using Soul Feast and Poison or of Decay. So that's it for Bone Curse. It's just the same as the other two, basically. Next is Soul Feast. I've put 4 points on Hunger to get cast speed and mana efficiency. 1 point on Grand Imprint to no longer requires cursed enemies for it to hit. 1 point on Winds of Affliction for the increased area and frailty chance if you don't have one. 2 points on Soul Seeker. 2 points on Rest to get to 1 point of Usurp. Yeah. This will significantly help us with our sustainability, as long as we are hitting bosses or rare enemies. 2 points on Grim Affliction and 3 points on Sharpened Influence to also get the maximum mana efficiency possible for this skill. 2 points on Poisoned Husk to get to Disease Soul, 1 point, and 1 point on Toxic Craving. This is the node that converts poison stacks to armor and poison resistance per stack. So that's it for this build. Up next is a video of me using this build with an Echo and on a boss. So And that is it for this video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed all the variants for uh that seal rip, that seal high crit lich. And if you guys have any more ideas, or if you think there's a much more better way to play this build with some other skills like Spirit Plague, then feel free to say it in the comments below. So thanks for watching. See ya.